Hello everyone and welcome to episode 16 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and Soundcloud, and now topic by topic, day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. To catch updates about the podcast or for other news, give us a follow on your social media platform of choice listed in the description below. I'm your host, GM, and overseer of Podcast of Five Rings, Obsidian, joined by the resident wildcard, Mao.
Oh wow, you got me first this time.
Finally, we're mixing it up. We got the Dark Fortune Duelist meta, always second.
Yar.
You ain't no crane.
Oh.
You won.
Rar.
The wall that will not fall. Tetsuo.
I'm here, finally.
Sad that crabs are not this week.
I, for one, am so glad that crabs are not this week, as I make thousands of enemies.
Jerk.
I wish I had the power to just kick him from Discord.
G-kick. You're out of the guild, meta.
Damn it. Well, it's going to happen sooner or later.
As he takes all of our loot before he goes.
That's right.
I was going to say, then he goes off and makes his own free company with blackjack and hookers.
Forget the blackjack.
Ow. Alright, let's get right into L5R, I guess. This past 2 weeks, we've been off, obviously, because of our double episode recording. Lots of dragon stuff came out. We got a dragon story that we're not going to dwell super long on. Some dragony stuff happened. And there was a prophecy. That's about all I remember because I haven't read it in almost 2 weeks. If anyone has any clear details on it, go on ahead.
Dragon sat on mountaintop. Dragon pondered problem. Dragon gave cryptic answer. Doom befell all. Feel like that's pretty much the story.
That is kind of like on point.
They actually set out to do something and not just keep sitting there.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point.
But we never saw it actually. But we never actually saw that happen, though. Until we see it happen,
just the
don't
promise
believe
of it. I've talked a lot about how samey kind of the story's been. This like kind of promised some new stuff, actually. At least the dragon are in a different situation than they were in the previous clan war. We didn't really know a lot about them, but now we know they have like problems at home with the shortage of samurai and some other stuff. This weird Shinto,
Pure Land?
Not Shinto, but Shinseism, like sect of Shinsei.
I freaking love the problems that the dragon face.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
That was perhaps one of my favorite parts. Like the whole opening, the dude is like doesn't even care that his horse just got murdered, that somebody like ran in front of him. He was just freaking out about, did he accidentally kill this child?
That could have
Who
been
might
one
not
of the
even
samurai.
have been born samurai.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's intense.
that was the best part of the fiction for me. Was just that new stuff.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
And then once they got to the mountain,
Go ahead, Tets. Sorry.
I was just going to say that I like how it feels that the dragon is going to be the center of a lot of the upcoming conflict. Or at least close to the center anyway, instead of off on the fringes.
Shadowlands are rising.
uh-oh.
We'll rise up once again.
If it's not a wall story, I'll be surprised.
We also got to see Hitomi, who's, at least at this point, no longer the Miramoto family daimyo.
Or not yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
She didn't start as the daimyo.
Don't you worry. We'll kill him off, and then we'll put him in there.
She got there really fast if she didn't. I don't actually remember.
Well, because originally, when she first swore her blood feud with Yakumo, she was not. In fact, she was like a lower class.
She wasn't even a samurai at that point, I think.
Right.
I don't think she'd even got to her Genpaku yet.
Yeah, that's right. She did not, but her brother had just recently passed it. That was part of the whole thing. He had just passed it, and
They did reveal her brother's dead, so.
Yep.
Poor Satsu. Let's get on to some cards, because there's not really much to say without us kind of rambling for a little bit. Okay, we got personalities first. This is obviously all the cards out of the Monks of the Mountain article and some of the previews we got over the past few weeks. First up, we got Ski Investigator. He is a 3 fate cost, a 1/3 courtier with 2 glory. Action: while this character is participating in a political conflict, spend 1 fate to an unclaimed ring. Look at your opponent's hand, choose one of those cards and discard it. Thoughtseizes, baby! But it costs 3 instead of 1.
I really like that card.
Yeah, it's good.
Higher glory for a dragon.
Where you had Doji Giftgiver, who gave a fate to their opponent and bowed a person in a reaction. This one kind of like fits the theme better. of putting fate onto rings, which is something that Dragon want to do. And just looking at your hand and getting rid of their best card is really good. There's a reason you can only do it once per conflict. You don't want to like completely deplete all your opponent's stuff. Because not only does it get rid of one of their cards, they might have had to invest honor to get that card. So it's almost like you're negating a bit of that cost that they spent to you. So
Yeah.
the political 3 for 3 is also really good, and him having a 1 in military makes him relevant.
Yeah, do they have any dashes?
I haven't seen any dashes out of Dragon.
Yeah, I don't think so.
A big focus they talked about was that the Dragon are balanced, and it kind of fits with their whole like wanting to be philosophical and very introspective and stuff. It makes sense mechanically that all their characters probably can do political and can do martial stuff, but we got Ascetic Visionary as the next character. He is a 4 fate cost, 3/4 monk tattooed with 1 glory. No attachments except for monk or tattoo, so you can't put anything else on him. Action. While this character is attacking, spend 1 fate to an unclaimed ring. Choose a monk character or a character with a monk attachment. Ready that character. So,
That's a big slab of beef.
yeah, he is. Those stats are really good. Again, more kind of this theme of putting fate onto rings and manipulating that. Also, just a kind of other theme that's been consistent across Dragon cards. You're going to see it as we talk more and more about these cards, is writing characters, because Dragon are basically all about, here's my big unit, my big guy, he's going to stick around for a while, I'm going to get to use him in multiple conflicts because I'm going to keep writing my bowed characters.
And a reliance on attachments.
Yes. I'd say they're probably the most consistent, like, theme-wise that we've seen.
They said they would, yeah.
A lot of their cards interact directly with what they kind of want to do.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's just, like, off the beaten path like some of the cards we've gotten for Lion or Crane. They're just, like, some action.
Yep.
Next we got Enlightened Warrior. 3 fate cost, 2/2, Bushi, 1 glory. Reaction. After an opponent selects a ring with fate on it, place 1 fate on this character.
That's just a good ability.
Yeah, that's just an incredibly good ability.
Not so good early on, obviously, because none of the rings are going to have fate on them unless you're putting fate onto the rings. And it's going to be harder to do that the first turn, but second turn plus, this character is gas. Probably going to be around the rest of the game.
Also, just beautiful art.
Yeah. Actually, I'm very fond of this card just overall.
The pink sky in the back.
Oh, yeah.
The cherry blossoms.
The mountain off to the right side. Just the pathway that leads he's on.
Mal's liked a lot of this Dragon art.
Yeah, I mean, I like the art in the entire game is pretty great.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Next we got Neechan Master, 4 fate cost, 3/3 Bushi with 2 glory. Reaction. After you attach a weapon attachment to this character, ready this character. Limit Chwasp per round. Makes sense for the 2 because Neechan is all about using 2 swords. What do you guys think about the card?
He's kind of expensive.
Yeah,
Neechan Master, I feel like, is the kind of guy that you really gonna have to make sure you have attachments for him. Otherwise, that investment is pretty hefty for a 3/3.
Theoretically, if you're playing Dragon, a lot of the cards in your conflict deck are going to be attachments.
Or be played as attachments.
Yeah. Otherwise, you probably don't want to buy this guy if you don't have any attachments in your hand, obviously.
I mean, even if you honored him to give him the glory bonus, he becomes a 5/5, which admittedly is really potent numerically. But like you really need to have attachments for this guy's ability to go up. Otherwise, he's just a stat stick.
The stats just for the cost are not good, but the ability is probably 2 fate itself. Just having him be able to go to multiple conflicts and get bigger every time he's at a new conflict is really strong.
Yeah, but it also means that you kind of have to conserve up your pool because you're paying 4 base for him, and then obviously you're going to want to keep him out for a while. Otherwise, there's no point in throwing all those attachments on him, and then the attachments themselves are going to cost money. He's a really invested character.
You probably want to pay 5 for him, invest the extra 1. You've probably done stuff to like get bonus fate, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because since Dragon are all about these big units, you're not really going to buy that many characters a phase. You're probably going to be the first person to pass during the recruitment phase, so you're going to get the 1 fate off that. So most of the time, you're probably going to be the 8 fate every turn. So that's 5. There are free attachments like just the blank 2/0 restricted, 2 military, 0 political sword. I can't remember exactly what it's called. For 0 cost.
Flying Katana?
Yes, so there's that. Then you can pay 1 for another one, and you're getting bang for your buck right there. You obviously just have to have the free attachment. And then you got like 3 more fate, to play around with. So I don't think it's like completely unheard of, but he's going to be like your one character that turn. But he's going to be effective because he's going to show up at a lot of different battlefields. He's probably my favorite card out of all the dragons. I think he's super good, but not someone you want to see on first turn. A lot of the higher costed ones probably aren't, just like old 5R. So
I think, unless you've got the money to spend and spare for him in case other things come up, because in a vacuum, you've got 3 points left in that example, but we have no idea what else might be out there that you need to deal with. I just think the only thing I'd say is he's a good card, but go in knowing that you're gonna have to have, your coffers kind of filled.
Yeah, and if you don't, you can just discard him. It's not like bad or anything. You just get rid of him.
You gotta commit.
We got Tattooed Warrior, 1 fate, 2/1, Monk Tattooed with 0 glory. You may play this character as an attachment with the text, attached character gains covert. He's a 2 influence. For anyone who didn't read the article, covert is basically, when you attack with a covert character, you select one of your opponent's characters without covert, and that character cannot assign to defend. Basically, this is like soft cavalry in a way, to talk about the old game. Cavalry was a way that you could get away from people defending at certain provinces by moving before the battle actually began. In this case, you're keeping someone from moving, moving in.
That seems pretty strong to negate their strongest character.
1 fate to gain covert on any character is really good. It's probably mostly what he's going to be played for. You're probably ever rarely going to see the 2/1 unless he's just in your hand, you have a fate to spare, and you need 2 or 1 more force to win the battlefield. So I think he's mostly going to be attachment.
Yeah, and we haven't seen much of Scorpion yet, but I could easily see him being a Scorpion splash card. I'm assuming they're probably going to have some covert cards in their repertoire.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It's a very Scorpion-y kind of thing.
Looking through these dragon cards, I don't think they have any 1 influence. It looks like they're going to be hard to splash.
A lot of them are really good, so it makes sense.
Well, I guess they're balanced, because it's all 2s, I think. It's like no 3s or 1s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Balanced to the end of time.
Neechan Adept, 2 fate, 2/1, Bushi with 1 glory. Action while this character is participating in a conflict, bow a friendly attachment on it. So probably if the spell gets put on him that negates his ability, you're not going to be able to use this anyways, but you can't bow something that someone put on you. Choose a participating character without attachments, bow that character. So a very classic Kensai ability from the old game. Kensai, in the old 5R, you just couldn't have multiple weapon attachments, period. Unless you were Kensai, then you got 2. And a lot of their abilities interacted with their weapons that were on them to bow them or send them home or give you force penalties by bowing your weapons usually. So this is a very classic old 5R inspired card. A really good effect because we haven't seen a lot of readying actions to unbow your characters. Now the dragon have a lot, so we're going to see a lot this week. But it just seems like a pretty strong ability.
Yeah, I think it's to help out with their small numbers.
It's also nice for him because he's actually probably one of the cheaper units you can do, and he still comes with a pretty potent ability.
Yeah, the stats by themselves aren't good at all, but
no,
you're gonna want to get attachments on him, and you're gonna be able to. So
he's he's quite literally just like a cheaper, easier, potentially even first turn character as opposed to the Neechan Master.
Yep, he's a very solid, very strong first turn character.
Yeah.
Miramoto Rock Sugu is a 3 fate cost, 3/2, Bushi Duelist, 1 glory. Action while this character is participating in a conflict. Choose a participating character controlled by your opponent. Challenge that character to a military duel. If the loser of the duel has no fate on it, discard it. Otherwise, remove 1 fate from it. So we got our first quote-unquote kill/lethal duel to compare to the old game. In the old game, lots of duels, and not lots of them, but a very common effect of a duel was that you died if you lost it. So it seems that kind of what we were talking about earlier, there isn't really going to be any pure unconditional discarding cards, quote-unquote killing personalities. You're going to remove fate from them.
Yeah.
And if they don't have fate, then you can discard them. Which I think is a lot... I think that's better because it's a lot more... It's less swingy. You don't feel like you're completely screwed that your one character got killed. And just this ability is like really strong. He's a duelist meta. What
Yeah.
do you think about him?
I think I want to use him. I love his duel ability.
Is he your favorite character because he's a duelist?
He's like his duel is really straightforward as compared to like the Kenshin Zen we saw, which is insanely potent and a humongous guessing game for the opponent. I love the simplicity in this guy's duel. He's like, I'm challenging this guy a duel. This is what happens to the loser, and I love how potent that is because that is removing a fate, and you do not want to lose that duel because that could either kill off your card a round early, or it could mean that he's gonna die a round early, and you now have to replan around that.
Well, if he has none, you just get rid of him right then and there. You don't even have to worry about
Well,
him.
yeah.
Weird that he uses a Tonto in his duel in the art.
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit weird. It's even weirder that it's like the whole reverse hand grip. I mean, not to get full-on true martial arties, but that's kind of really weird. That's not a thing you would do.
He's also a really good... I think he's your best political defender that Dragon have.
Yes.
'Cause
yes, solid political defender.
just like the Kenshin's in, this is a military duel. They don't have to... You can't challenge, I believe they said in the last week's live video, if a character has a dash, and you try to challenge them, like a dash in the military, you try to challenge them to a military duel, they can't participate.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if they have zeros or ones, and they're like political powerhouses, and he's your one political dueler, you can severely cripple someone on the attack.
Yeah.
So he's just a really solid, and could possibly get rid of that character too. Especially if he's beefed up, he or she's beefed up with attachments. So I like the card. It's probably my second favorite. Super good. Next is Togashi Kazue. Is a 3 fate cost, 3/3, monk tattooed with 1 glory. You may play this action, or you may play this character as an attachment with the text action. During a conflict in which attached character is participating, choose another participating character, move 1 fate from that character to the attached character. She is 2 influence.
She is immensely powerful.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The stat
Holy
line is
crap.
fine by itself, and then you get this action on top of it.
Yeah, like, the dumbest part is the fact that, like, if you don't play her as a character, just attach her to a character, and then just keep assigning that dude to everything.
Maybe you felt like you had to invest extra fate, and then you draw her next turn, and maybe you flip, like, Yokuni later, and you go, oh, I want to put that fate that I put on my other guy onto Yokuni. So it doesn't just sap from opponent, you can use it to your benefit, too, if your opponent's not putting extra fate on their characters. Like, for instance, if you're going up against Line, maybe, and they haven't triggered some of their fate abilities yet.
I don't even think, not even Yokuni, I think just, like, throwing her onto the neechan master, that would be devastating.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be
putting
really good.
her on anyone that can ready themselves and then go like participate in both conflicts.
Good God.
Yeah, really good.
Ooh,
She is every bit worth that 3 cost just as an attachment. Sapping
As a-
Fate's really strong.
I think she's actually better as an attachment. I think as
Oh,
a
she's
character,
way
she's
better as an
okay,
attachment.
But, like, you want to use her as an attachment. Don't even bother
Oh,
putting
yeah.
her on the field.
yeah, but she can be played in pinch as a surprise character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe like last turn, if you're trying to crack your opponent's last province, you might need that extra force to do it. That's another reason
Yeah,
why she's really
trying
good.
to crack the stronghold.
She's
or
so
something.
versatile. Because not only is she a
she
really
is
good
so
attachment,
good.
she has just solid stats for that cost. So
I also just love her art.
Mal is the art buff of the group, if you guys haven't noticed yet. Yes, this art is magnificent.
Oh, the finest. I'll take 5.
Speaking of good art, this is my favorite art. The next character, Togashi Okuni. All the
I could have
Oh, yeah.
guessed
Champ-
that. I just took a look at this guy and I was
Big
like,
helmet.
this looks
Yeah,
like
this
a guy
dude-
Obs would love.
oh yeah,
The edgiest.
Yeah, the edgiest. I was like, how is this not a scorpion?
He makes
Bob
me think of
Cost.
Shredder.
no, that's Uji. 5 cost, 5/5. All the champions are probably going to be 5. Bushi Shugenja champion, 3 glory. Action: choose a triggered ability, put it on another character. That character gains that ability until the end of the phase, max once per round.
That's bloody powerful.
This is the strongest champion we've seen so far,
Yeah.
because the stat spread is just higher. It's higher by 1 than the other 2 champions. The other ones are 6/3s, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
He's a 5/5. 3 glory, so it turns into an 8/8. Shugenja, so that could matter. Depending on... I don't know. I don't think Dragon are going to have any spells base. If so, we haven't seen them yet. Maybe Splash Phoenix. There's obviously some neutral spells. They don't have Law Shugenja, so that's probably not a good strategy, but I don't know. It might matter for something down the road when we get like a Tamori theme or something. Or not Tamori, but Agasha now. Back to Agasha. I'm so stuck in old 5R terminology.
You just can't go back.
Maybe it'll start with Tamori.
No, it's Agasha. They've already said.
Yeah, there's already one of the earlier dragons was the Agasha swordsmith.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Fire
That's right.
Shigenja.
Yeah. And this type of action has always just been really strong. I suspect it will be strong again. Let me look.
We really got to know what a triggered ability is.
Yeah,
though.
we need to know what a triggered ability is, but like Enlightened Warrior, I know this card's going to trigger off of. So that's like a good effect. If you can get like neechan Master effect, that's going to be super strong. Stuff like buffing even more off the guy who there's the ascetic togakushi, I believe, who gets stronger when there's a fate token on the ring that you're fighting over or something like that. Lots of good just triggered abilities that we've seen so far, and if we can get a better explanation on what triggered specifically means, because it seems more like it's going to be reaction effects, but if that's all it is, why wouldn't you not put reaction on the card?
Well, it might be action and reaction, which would make it really good. Like, obviously, you can't maybe target like the restricted or ancestral abilities.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those are more like keyword abilities, I think.
Yeah, well, so maybe it's any action or reaction or forced reaction.
Yeah, if it's,
I can't remember
if it's
that's
any
a thing.
action or reaction, that's going to be super good. So he's really strong. I think he's the best clan champion we've seen so far.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right, let's get into attachments. We got Ancestral Dasho, which we've already seen before, but was in the article, so we'll just go ahead and talk about it really briefly. 1 fate cost, +2/0. Ancestral, when attached card leaves play, return this card to your hand. That's the Ancestral keyword ability. It's also restricted. Yeah. Also 2 influence. It's just a card that
It's so
you
good.
put it in play, you're probably going to pay 1 every round to keep it around as it falls off.
Yeah, you never really have to invest more fate into it.
Yep, it's a way to constantly ensure that you have attachments on the board somewhere and keep your attachment-focused Dragon Clan personalities' abilities happening. So, just fuel for your engine.
Yeah, this will go in
Yeah.
every dragon deck.
Yeah.
Right?
I can see it easily splashing into other decks. I mean, Ancestral itself is just bloody good.
As is Kikis Method, which is the political version. One fate cost, +2 political strength, Ancestral restricted. Just like the other one, this is probably, since we were talking about the design philosophy earlier before we started recording, political skill is going to be harder to come by in the game. Like, it's easier to buff your military skill just off the actions that more military-focused characters have, whereas there's more control-y, interactive-y kind of stuff with political. Just flat political buff is pretty rare, and this is going to be, again, a constant way to ensure that you have attachments on your guys.
Yep.
Yup.
We also got Way of the Dragon, which is interestingly an attachment. Is 2
Only one way of, I believe, that is.
so far at least. Probably will be the only one. It's a 2.
Well, they showed the fan, and it looks like that was the only one.
Oh, okay. 2 fate cost, 1/1 philosophy. Attached to a character you control, limit 1 per character. You may trigger each of attached characters' triggered abilities an additional time each round. So you can Yokuni twice if you wanted to. If you put it on Yokuni.
Well, whatever he picks. 'Cause
That's a bloody good card.
Yeah, just really nice.
Just being able to double up on an ability that you have. I mean, that's really solid.
Let me look at the timing on this again. Additional time each round or specified period. The neechan Master who readies, would he get to do it again if you attach that round, or
no?
Or does it trigger at the same time twice?
I thought the article
It's
gave
twice.
an example.
He's twice per round anyways, so I don't think it really works with him.
Oh, I mean, like you could do it again, but I doubt you're gonna be throwing like that many conflicts of him into.
It's weird. I think it's going to have to be like played with to really like see. And we also need more
The dragon?
confirmation on
Weird?
triggered abilities. It's fitting that the dragon has had the most like mechanical confusion out of me, and out of all the other clans. So, all right, we got some events. First one is Vajra Fire. It is a 0 fate cost Kiho Fire. Reaction after an opponent declares a fire conflict. Choose a monk character or a character with a monk attachment. Place 1 fate on that character and draw 1 card. 2 influence.
It's definitely the flashiest art.
Yeah,
Looks like Kokujin.
somebody's on.
That
fire.
was what I thought.
Yeah, was that you saying that earlier, Teds? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
agree.
I saw it, and there's a specific Kokujin card that to me just that looks like him from it, but I couldn't tell you what card it was from the old game.
Yeah. And while this card seems very situational, because it has to be a fire conflict, and your opponent has
And
to
you have to
declare
have a
it,
monk.
and you have to have a monk. Fire
free.
is it's free. Fire is probably the best ring, depending on what clan you're playing. At least if you're up against Crane and Lion, who have high glory and care about being honored, fire is a very common ring they're going to go after. There's ways to incentivize your opponent as Dragon by putting fate on the fire ring if they're not going after it. If you got a monk, they have to always have in their mind, are they going to walk into a free fate on the character and an additional card because it replaces itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a strong card, especially out the base, because I think you're going to have at least like the 3 or 4 monks, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the few cards that also allows you to draw another card.
Yeah, it just replaces itself. It's good. It's
draw power, man.
It's free card draw and fate, but very conditional.
Yeah.
So some balance.
We have seen 5 monks, though one is that attachment lady. So.
And 2 in the initial conflict article, I believe.
Oh, I went through all of them.
Yeah. Next attachment we have is Let Go. 0 fate cost. Action. Choose an attachment. Discard it. 2 influence. Very bread and butter, classic old 5R attachment hate card. Mal liked this card a lot when it was previewed.
Just for the flavor, yeah. Oops, dropped your sword.
Into the river, apparently. I think that's a river. Or is it just
you can also use it on yourself if you want to move around an attachment.
Oh yeah, if you got like restricted or stuff like that, or you need to use the ability on your neechan master again, he's all attachmented up, and just good at getting rid of honor blades, which seemed like it's going to be a good card. So it's going to be good. If people splash Dragon a lot, it's probably going to be a card that gets splashed. Next we got Miramoto's Fury. 1 fate cost event. Action during a conflict. Choose an attacking character with glory X or lower. Bow that character. X is equal to the number of unrevealed provinces you control. It is 2 influence.
Fairly good early game, but obviously late game, you really don't want that card.
No.
Yeah.
You don't want it at all late game.
I mean,
although to be fair,
there are some 0 glory people, so it's not useless, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're always going to have 1 unflipped province, probably, because there might be times where you do flip them all, because maybe they attacked into a province that was really good and they didn't win there, and maybe the game's kind of stalemate a little bit and they flip your other province. But then again, like you guys said, there's still 0 glory guys, so.
Well, I mean, like, even then, though, technically, you have, I believe, even your Stronghold is considered a province, correct?
It's got a province under it. So you start with 5 unflipped.
Yep.
So unless you swing at all 4 of them, you're technically going to still be able to hit. If you go directly for, like, just crushing the Stronghold and going for the most efficient route as opposed to, like, trying to slap every single province, you'll still be able to bow 2 people or less, 2 glory or less, because you'll have 2 provinces still technically unrevealed, at least until you make the final attack. In which case, it's just 1 or 0.
Yeah, basically, unless. Well, yeah, you'll probably always have at least 1 unbowed. Like they could attack the Stronghold and then fail, and then attack again. But yeah, so.
But I don't think from what they've said that's not generally a strategy you want to take, because most games ends pretty.
I'm just saying things happen. So
yeah,
and it's also you can only use it on defense, so it makes it a little worse. But again, you're like the big guy, really good early. You're gonna basically be able to bow anything. So just one of those cards that has like diminishing returns as the game goes on.
I think it's pretty cool seeing like an entire battle represented on a card.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next we got Indomitable Will. It's a 1 fate cost event. It says reaction after you win a conflict in which you control only a single participating character. That character does not bow as a result of the conflict's resolution. 2 influence.
Probably fits with the dragon.
Yep, they don't want to bow during conflict resolution. You want to keep your big, beefy unit at every single battlefield. This is the way to do it.
I could definitely see Crab wanting to splash dragon for things like this.
Yeah, especially if they're big guys. I see Meta clicking furiously on her notes because I put the wrong card in there.
I was just clicking over and over.
Let's get on to province. We got Restoration of Balance, which is a 3 province strength. Reaction after this province is revealed, your opponent chooses and discards cards from his or her hand until that player has 4 or fewer cards in hand.
I hate that card so much.
Well, you might play if you play Crane, you play Honor meta. It's not going to be as good against you.
Well, I mean, like I hate that fact of that card. That's like, oh, by the way, that hand you have, yes, please lower it down to 4 cards, or fewer, if you like.
Yeah, because I've watched some games of Tables Yours podcast playing on Tabletop Simulator, there was at one point one person had I think 10 or 11 cards in hand. Imagine how crushing that would be to swing into this province and lose 7 cards.
Yeah.
So it's
hell, even losing 3 cards would kill me.
Yeah, if you lose more than 1 card, you're sad because that's 2 honor you've invested essentially.
Yep.
But it's, again, not as good against honor runners because they're usually going to be bidding low. I could see this card being put on your Stronghold, maybe.
I mean, the Crane even have, was it a province or an event that lets them draw 3 cards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they hit this after that, that's going to feel bad.
Yeah,
but.
When you're playing against Dragon, you just have to, it's one of those things where you just have to know the environment, know what cards each clan has access to. So as any person playing this, you got to know that you don't want to overload on cards. You're going to run into this province eventually.
Yeah, this seems really good to put under your Stronghold.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Limit their final choices, yeah.
Because that's when people are going to want to invest all their honor because they're going to want to draw as many cards as they can. They know they're not going to win honor victory. They have to crush this last province, so why not get as many cards as you can? If you're over and you put that on your last province, then there you go.
Yep.
Okay, we got holding Secluded Temple is a +1 province strength shrine. Reaction after the conflict phase begins. Each opponent who controls more characters than you must choose a character he or she controls with 1 or more fate on it. Remove 1 fate from each chosen character.
Man.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly.
Man.
This
not cool.
This can really hurt line. Keeping like fate off your guys for the Miramoto Duelist, who can just discard guys. Because if you see that sitting in your opponent's province, you're obviously not going to invest fate on your characters and throw it away. Right?
Yeah.
I think you definitely want, the moment you attack this province and this flips up, that's when it becomes like, I need to
this is a holding.
Province. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
So it sits in your province,
as long
basically.
as it's sitting there.
No!
Yeah, so it can just stay there.
No, then you need to destroy that area.
Yeah, you need to destroy that province and get rid of it and get it discarded. So
that's what I was going to say originally. Yeah, just destroy the whole area. You need to commit.
Alright, let's finish off here. We got Mountains Anvil Castle. Is the Dragon Stronghold. Is a +2 province strength, so that's the same as all the other province or all of the other strongholds. Action during a conflict, battle the stronghold. Choose a participating character with 1 or more attachments on it. Till the end of the conflict, that character gets +1 military and +1 political, or +2 military and +2 political instead if it has 2 or more attachments on it. It is a 11 honor, 7 fate, 10 influence. 11 honor was a bit of a surprise for me. We were saying that the spectrum of honor starting totals is probably not going to be super different in that case.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd be huge.
So Scorpion might be 10, maybe 9.
I don't think it'd be 10 for Scorpion, but
No.
Nah.
So this is a pretty solid ability. You're going to have attachments. It works in both military or political, so again, more balanced, more versatile than a Crane. It has the chance of being a lower swing than those cards, but it can be equal if not better in some cases. So fits the Dragon, what they want to do.
Yup.
So I think neechan Master is probably my favorite card. What's everyone else's favorite card they've seen?
I'm going to go with Enlightened Warrior for the art.
I just really like that Ancestral Dice Show.
I'm kind of partial to Yokuni. I feel like my answer's been the champion the last 3 times. Might not have been for Lion, but still, I really like Yokuni.
There you have it. Dragon. Let's see if they mesh up well with Crab next week. I'm looking forward to the Crab
now we
story.
can move on to a better place.
Wow.
The Shadowlands wall.
1,000 enemies.
That's a better place.
Yes, it's a glorious place that protects the rest of Rokugan.
Much honor to be had.
Something.
I don't know
British,
about honor,
something,
but glory,
something.
yes.
Where would Rokugan be without it?
Agreed.
You sound exactly like
dead.
that Crab rhetoric.
I know, right?
Are you really surprised coming from the 2 of us, though?
Nah, not really.
I mean, it's not wrong.
It's not.
It's not, but
I'm gonna say this: if the Crab weren't around, somebody else would take up the mantle.
the unicorn.
They wouldn't be as
obviously.
good.
But here's the
can't
thing, though.
prove
If somebody else did, how do you not know that they would not just become what the Crab are? And would, in essence, be the Crab? The Crab is not the Crab because of the name, but because of the essence of who they are.
I would love to see an alternate
I mean, the Scorpion
reality
tried, right? But they needed the
where-
Crab's help.
where other clans take the job that the crab have. I would love to see alternate realities and just see how that goes.
I think Unicorn would be best at it, personally.
And other people do, like, stand on the wall. Other clans.
Yeah.
They send people.
No, but I mean, I want that to be, like, their whole thing. Their whole shtick is what the crab do. And I just want to see how that would mold and affect the clans as we know them. Like, what if that was Doji? What if that was the crane that were actually the protectors on the wall? How would that change them?
Well, I mean, what would the crab be without the wall? I mean, like you know, what would they do? Well, I mean, as samurai, but what would they do? Like how would that change?
The best
what did they
thing of all,
do in the Togashi dynasty?
I don't know. I haven't read all that.
That's
probably another topic for another day.
They're going to
We should probably save our crab
awesome
talk for
like
next week.
hat slip like plays where you pull like your position out of like a hat
Oh,
or
yeah.
a helmet.
Oh yeah.
That's what they would
Kubota,
do. Draw lot
Kabuto.
plays. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, draw lots. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what they would do.